Okay, so this is Dungeon of Deadliest. Evil is a solitaire adventure game by Noah Shiola, as you can see here. This is the PDF with the rules, and this was made for a board game gig design contest, I believe. And it's a tile lane dungeon crawler and solitaire, as you can see. The things I've done for this mod, well, the most obvious things is I've added these figures for the enemies. All these goblins are the same and the skeletons are the same. I just used two different images. Here we have Grizzly, which is the evil sorcerer that you have to defeat, and here's the heroine of the story. She's an elf warrior named Cora. She's at the entrance of the dungeon as the setup determines, and then you will be building the dungeon. These parts are all taken from the PDF. I just added a card back to all of this because you have to shuffle them and then create the first level of the dungeon, the second one, and the third. So you just put them here and you just take them out. Here are the dice you use for your statistics, and these are the dice you need for the enemies and random events. This is your life token. You don't roll these dice. You just use this, and you change the value when it goes below 1. You lose the game. Here you have a little reminder of the round. Then here's the monster track. I added this deploy text so you remember that the moment a monster reaches this spot is when you put him on the dungeon. These are very useful guides for when you build the dungeon and you cannot actually connect it all on its own. And they are basically different levels with stairs down, so you put this to interconnect them and remember where you came from. I added these 3 counters, which are the 3 objectives of the game: to kill Grizzly, to destroy the Black Crucible, and to retrieve the Book of Lore. Sometimes, these are solitaire games, and they are fairly short, especially if you do bad. So sometimes you played a bunch of games, just 10, 15 games in a row, and you don't remember. You're confused or you get interrupted. Let's say you get interrupted mid-game. So in order to remember where you are, maybe you finish the turn and you have this to put on your character sheet if you need to keep this as a reminder of the objectives that you have achieved, right? Also, when you retrieve the Book of Lore, that's a rule to put Grizzly on the monster track, so that's also easy to remember. Here are the event cards. You always have to shuffle them before playing them and then just flip them. These are the same as the original game. These are the treasure cards for the dungeon. These are tokens I created for the when you search a room. The rules say you cannot search a room twice, so an easy way to remember when you have searched a room is to grab one of these little counters, put it on the room, and then you cannot do another search. One last thing that I added is some of these rooms, if you know the rules of the game, have special rules, and if you don't remember, or maybe you play a lot of different games, you don't want to go through the rule book again. So I made a little pop-up, when on mouse over. Every room with special rules has their special rules set on them. These objects are cards, so when they are flipped and face down and they are mixed, you don't have to worry about that, because mouse over tips do not work when a card is face down, so they will only show up when you actually put them on the table. And if you don't remember the special rules for each of these rooms, there you go. You should have the rules written on the screen for you, so you don't remember. And that's about it, right? So it's basically the same as the print and play game, with all the tiles already cut for you and already made. The setup is it's very special. You have to make 3 different dungeon levels. So I don't have that made for you. I only have all this set up, but not that, because every time it's gonna be different. You should always shuffle these decks when you start, because the the main state of the game, it's always the same. So remember to shuffle this, and that's it. So you can play your dungeon crawling, which is, this is a very, very fun game, very short, and I think you can do a lot of modding to it with new rules and maybe even new items and stuff. And of course, the PDF with the rules here, you can see it. And it has everything you need to know. So this is what I did for Dungeon of Deadliest Evil, one of my favorite solitaire dungeon crawling games, and I hope it's fun for you to play on Tabletop Simulator, and just tell me if anything doesn't work properly.